Hey Juan, AFM Bio here. Welcome back to another video where today, before we do this, folks, remember, let's just go here, go to Amazon, and I'll just show you one more time. I'm trying out a new microphone on my headset. Hopefully that does better. Tell me if it is. If not, I'll go back to my phone as a microphone. I'm just doing this because my phone had glitches, so let's hope this is better. I'm doing, by the way, we have till the 16th for this to end. $13.99 Canadian, $7 USD. The $7 USD is never going to change for the ebook, but as for my physical book, $13.99 right now. Get it while it's cheap, or else it's going back to $16, and it's going to be a lot more expensive. Okay, anyway, on that, folks, today is round 5 of the candidates. Yesterday we had a break, so here we go. Today we have Esipenko versus Praggnanandhaa. Esipenko with the black pieces and Praggnanandhaa with the white. Okay, here we go. Knight to f3, knight to f3, and we have d4, d4, e6, e3, e3, knight to f6, or in this case, knight to king's bishop 3. That's how black would write this. White would write this, knight to king's bishop 6. Okay, here we go. We have c4, or queen's bishop 4. Okay, we have e3, king's bishop 2. Or, yeah, king's bishop 2. Okay, we have b3, bishop e7, and bishop to b2, fianchettoing the bishop, protecting the rook, and also looking at this long diagonal. In the future, if this knight were to ever move, this pawn will fall. Anyway, here we go. Castles, bishop to e2, c5, c takes d5, knight takes d5, and we have knight to c3. We have b6, knight takes d5, e takes d5, and we have castles, and we have bishop to e6. Okay. We have d4 looking to fight for the center, and Esipenko does not want to do that, and he plays knight to d7. So far, so good. None of them have put knights on the rim. I'm happy. Okay. Bishop to a6, bishop to a6. We have knight to f6, knight to f6. We have queen to e2, queen to e2. We have bishop to d6. Okay, bishop to d7. Bishop d7, we have rook a c1, rook a to c1, because both rooks go to c1. Hence, Pragg played rook a, c1, activating rook and playing for this file. If these pawns are going to get traded, Pragg has a open c file. All right, here we go. Queen to e7, and knight jumps to e5. Knight to e5, and we have knight to e4. Knight to e4, and we have rook fd1, because both rooks can go to d1. Pragg wants to move this, and now he's taking the full center. Okay, here we go. Rook a, e8. Rook a, e8. Okay. We have f3, kicking out the knight on e4. Knight jumps to f6. We have queen to f2. And we have queen to b6. Okay. Queen to b7. And we have bishop to d3. Rook to c8. We have f4, queen to e7, and we have queen to f3. Okay, rook to c7. Potentially, Pragg wants to double up the rook. Esipenko probably wants to double up the rooks. All normal moves. We have rook to d2. Rook to d2, same thing. Pragg probably wants to double up the rooks. And the bishop drops to c8. Okay, it's a little unusual, but okay, maybe Esipenko wants to reroute it this way to b7 and attack and defend this pawn at the same time. Okay, so Pragg doubles up the rook with rook dc2, rook d to c2, fighting for the c file. Now Pragg wants to take at some point, so Esipenko says bishop b7. I said you want to reroute, and here it is, reroute complete. We have queen to g3, queen to g3, and we have h6, h6, and we have h3, h3, and we have queen to e7, queen to e7, and we have king to h1, king to h1, and we rook f to c8. Both rooks are fighting, and here we go. We have king to h7, h2, king to h2, and we have rook back to e8, rook e8, and we have king to h1, and oh, okay, they just repeat moves. Okay, cool. Fine, 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 fine. They drew. Okay. Next round, we have Fabiano Caruana versus Bluebaum Matthias. I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry. Fabi with the white, Bluebaum with the black. Here we go. E4, E5, knight f3, knight c6, knight takes e5, and we have d6. D6, knight jumps to c4, knight takes e4, and we have knight to c3, knight takes c3, d takes c3, and we have e5. Okay. Knight jumps to e3, c6, bishop d2, g6, point of g6. You want to put your bishop on g7 and castle. Total sense. All right. We have f4, bishop g7, queen to f3, knight to d7, and we have long castles. Long castles. By the way, if this pawn weren't there, and if this bishop were to move, you have put pressure on the knight, pinning it to the queen. Okay? But the pawn is there, and you have this pyramid pawn structure. Look at these. For once, these guys are actually playing fundamentally right. I am happy today. Hopefully, it goes like this for the whole games. All right, here we go. We have knight to c5. We have f5, and we have castles. Total sense. We have g4 looking to just pawn storm their way in. Prague is looking to pawn storm. What do we have? We have knight to e4, bishop to d3, rook to e8, and we have bishop takes e4, rook takes e4, and we have h4. Look at this. Prague wants that storm. We have bishop to e5. We have c4, queen to b6, and we have c3, queen to a5. Again, mistake, but again, guess what? It's pretty normal. You're attacking a weak pawn, keeping an eye on this pawn as well as this pawn. As well, you have open times to go back to d8 if needed, and maybe reroute and attack this pawn. So I actually say this is a normal human move. You will see Sockfish disagreeing, but again, shut up, engine. No one asks for your opinion. Here we go. h5. I love this. We're creating a pawn storm. Let's go. g5. Okay. We have c. By the way, doubled pawns, right? Good thing Prague took. We have c takes d5, and rook slides to f4. Queen is under attack. What does Prague do? Prague, cool, calm, collected. Queen to e2. Queen to e2, and we have c takes d5. And we have king to b1. King to b1 makes total sense. You're now protecting the a pawn, so it will never fall. Your king still has now a smoking chimney. We can talk about smoking addictions afterwards, and the king is safe. You're not coming here and threaten check. If you do, king to a1, and you're completely safe. Anyway, here we go. Rook to a4, mistake, but guess what? Normal move. You want this pawn to fall, go down, and play rook a1 check. King goes here, trade rooks, and try to ease the pressure on here. Makes total sense, right? By the way, Here we go. We have c4. c4 and queen to a6 is inaccurate, but makes total sense. You're pinning this pawn. If this pawn were to ever take, you take the queen and you're winning. So what does Fabi do? Knight takes d5, f6, bishop to c3, and queen takes c4. Queen takes c4 is a mistake, but I is a blunder. But again, I say it's normal human move. But point being, you take, right? If Fabi were to take, you take, and you're happy here. But again, engine is a douchebag, so it's okay. Takes, and we have knight takes f6 check, bishop takes f6, queen to e8, king to g7, and h6 mate. Look at that pawn checkmate. I love this. Look at that. Look at that. Bluebaum just got checkmated. I think this is the first game in the candidates that we had someone get checkmated. That's history. Fabi just made history in 2026. At least for the year of 2026, this is history. Fabi is the first person to checkmate in 2026. This is impressive. All right, let's go on to game number 3. Now we have Hikaru Nakamura versus Sindarov Javokhir. I can't pronounce that name. I'm so sorry. Hikaru with the white, Sindarov with the black. Here we go. We have d4, d5, c4, e6. This is Queen's Gambit decline. We've seen this multiple times, but here we go. Knight to c3, d6. Oh, by the way, c6. This is the semi-Slav. We haven't seen this in a while, but yeah, this is a opening semi-Slav, and look at this pyramid of a pawn structure. Looks awesome. So here we go. e4, looking to destroy and undermine the d pawn, not one way, but two different ways. Makes total sense. What do we have? We have d takes e4, knight takes e4, and bishop to b4 check, bishop to d2, queen takes d4, and we have bishop takes b4, queen takes e4 check, bishop to e2, and we have knight to a6. Okay. I was very happy for 2 games straight. They cannot make me, they hate me happy. Okay. And these super GMs hate me happy because Sindarov said, he's too happy today. I must destroy him. I will play Knights on the Rim. Folks, you've heard this multiple times from me. Knights on the Rim are damned. This knight pretty much has no future besides to attack this bishop. If this bishop to ever move, this knight is absolutely useless. Okay, so this is a one-time attack. I hate these super GMs, man. Folks, don't play like this. Just because you're a super GM, it gives you no right to play Knights on the Rim. That's breaking principles, and I hate it. Okay, here we go. Bishop to d6, and we have queen takes g2, bishop to f3. Look at this. Bishop to f3 traps the queen. It traps the queen from taking the rook, because if you were to take the rook, you lose your queen. You can't go here with a check because there's a king, and you can't take the bishop because the knight is defending the bishop, as well as the queen. So the queen must move out of the way. So we have queen to g5, and we have knight to e2. Knight to e2, we have knight to e7, knight to g3, castles, and we have h4. I like h4. I don't care if Engine says it's a mistake. It makes sense. You're kicking out the queen, as well as pushing your h-pawn towards the king that has castled. Total logic, total sense, right? And also, you're moving the queen away so you can take this knight. All total logical sense, right? Bishop is threatening this knight. You can't take it because the queen was guarding it. So h4 plays to kick the queen out of the way so you can take this knight as well, right? So here we go. That's exactly what happens. Queen to a5 check, and you play b4. Look at this, b4. You can't take the b pawn. If you take the b pawn with the queen, bishop takes, then you lose the queen. So you have to take with the knight. Knight takes b4. Knight takes b4, and Hikaru castles. Castles, and we have rook to e8. Rook to e8 protects that knight from hanging, and we have queen to d2. Queen to d2, and we have c5. c5, and we have rook ad1. Rook ad1 because both rooks can go to d1. I think I mentioned this multiple times, but rook ad1 because you want to activate the rook and bring it to the center. Makes total sense. We have knight to f5, knight takes f5, e takes f5, and we have queen to f4. We have knight to c6, and we have king to h1. King to h1 is inaccurate, but makes total sense. You're bringing your king to safety, and you want to play rook to g1. Rook to g1 and putting pressure on the g7 pawn. So here we go. We have knight to d4, knight to d4, and we have rook to g1. Like I said, g6. G6 stops that stuff from happening. We have d5, bishop d5, bishop d5 now pins the pawn to the king. The f pawn is now pinned to the king, and it's inaccurate, sure, but it's a total human-looking move. However, it's inaccurate for the exact reason why. Stockfish plays this, and you die, which is not what happens. We have bishop to e6. Bishop to e6 stops that, and we have bishop takes b7, bishop takes b7, and now we have knight to e2. Knight to e2, and queen drops to d2. Queen takes d2, rook takes d2, and knight takes g1. You lose a knight. It's hard to play with this, but it's playable. And we have bishop takes a8, rook takes a8, and king takes g1. King takes g1, and we have rook to d8. Rook to d8, and bishop goes to f4, defending the rook, and we have rook takes d2, bishop takes d2, bishop takes c4, and we have bishop to e3. Notice how this isn't draw anymore because Hikaru only has 2 pawns against 5 pawns. 2b5 because this pawn's going to fall. So let's just say 2b4, and you're not winning because, again, this is a passed a pawn, and nobody's stopping this passed a pawn. So here we go. We have bishop takes a2. We have bishop takes c5. We have a5, bishop to f4, and we have f6, king to f2, king to f7, bishop to a3, king to e6, bishop to f8. We have a4, and we have king to e3, king to f7. We have bishop to b4, h6, king to f2, g5, and we have king to g3. Okay. We have bishop to d5, bishop to e3, bishop to a3, bishop to e4, bishop to c1, rook, g takes h4, check, and Hikaru resigns because no matter what you do, you're not stopping this a pawn from queening, and yeah, you resign here. However, it would be a draw if Hikaru had a pawn here. It's winning, but it's much more of a draw because of these 2 doubled pawns, and that can be a liability. So it's sad, but Hikaru has never won a single game on the candidates. He's had draws, but no wins. So if this keeps up, Hikaru is out of the candidates finals, semifinals, and finals together, and then we'll have one of the top 3 playing Gukesh. So here we go. Round 4, final round, we have Wei versus Anish Giri. Okay? So Wei with the black, Anish with the white. Here we go. Oh, actually, today I'll show you the standings too. So we have c4, e6, and we have g3, the Catalan. Oh my god, d5, and bishop to g2, knight to f6, knight to f3, bishop to e7, castles, d4, d takes c4, queen to c2, a6, a4, and we have bishop to d7. I sped ran all of that for a absolute reason. You don't want to hear some boring stuff. So here we go. Bishop to d7, queen takes c4, c5, queen takes d5, bishop to c6, knight to c3. Knight to c3 makes total sense. You develop your knight, you want to move your bishop and activate your rook, which are totally understandable things to do. And we have a5. a5 now stops the b pawn from ever moving if you play b4, a takes b4, queen takes b4, or knight takes, yeah, so queen takes b4 is forced, queen takes b4, and now your queen is pinned to the pawn, which means now it's going to be problematic. But here we go. Knight to e5, knight to e5 now attacks the bishop on c6, bishop c6, so we'll have bishop, so now the two bishops look at each other, and by the way, super powerful bishop. I don't know why you want to trade that off, but we have bishop takes g2, king takes g2, and we have knight bd7, knight bd7, because remember, both knights can go to b7, d7, so we have knight b to d7, not knight f to d7. So in this case, it would be queen's knight to queen 2, and here we go. We have knight to d3, knight to d3, and knight takes c5, knight takes c5, knight takes c5, c7, queen to c7, queen to c7, bishop to e3, bishop to e3, rook a d8, rook a to d8, because obviously both rooks can go to d8. Rook a d8, you create a battery on this knight, and this knight now has 3 attackers against 2 defenders. 2b3, 3 is winning. So knight 3 to e4, knight 3, because remember, both knights are on c, so which knight goes to e3, e4? Well, knight d e4, or knight 3 e4, because knight on 3 goes to e4. Knight 3 e4, right? Because if, okay, here's the thing, right? If both pieces are on the same rank, you say the file. So if both pieces are the same file, you say the rank. So for it in here, the third rank knight goes to e4, right? E is the file, 4 is the rank. E and the 4th rank. Knight goes to E and the 4th rank, hence knight 3 e4, right? Okay. Knight takes c4, queen takes c4, and we have bishop takes c5, bishop takes c5, and rook to c1. Rook to c1 now pins that bishop to the queen, and we have b6. We have rook d1, and we have queen to e7, queen to e7, bishop takes c5, rook takes c5, rook takes c5, queen takes c5, and we have rook to d7. Pigs on the 7th. Okay, well, in this case, pig on the 7th. Same thing, right? We have g6, and we have d3. Queen c3, queen f3, and we have, yeah, look, queen c3, queen f3, queen takes f3, and e takes f3. Okay, we have rook to c8, rook to d6, attacking the b pawn, and we have b5. A takes b5, rook to b8, b6, king f8. Remember, by the way, we wanted this as a smoking break, which makes total sense. Both players had this as a smoking break, but now Giri also has this as a smoking break. Like we said, we really got to talk about Giri's king smoking addiction, but it's okay. We have king to f8, and we have rook to c6, rook to c6, rook to b7, g4, and we have king to e8. Look at that king marching his way. We have h4, king to d7, rook to c5, rook takes b6, rook takes a5. They trade off pawns, king to e7, and we have h4. We have h6, f4, rook takes b3, and we have h takes g6, f takes g6, rook a7 check, king to f6, rook to h7, h5, g takes h5, g takes h5, rook takes h5, rook d3, f3, and we have rook to d5. Players agree to a draw because, yeah, makes total sense. Giri has 2 connected pawns like this, and like we said, pawns like this are a liability in the endgame, not an asset. So if pawns were connected like this, like if this pawn was on E or F4, F3, Geary would be winning. But because these are doubled pawns on the same file, this is a draw. Okay, so yeah, players agree to a draw. This was cool. This was cool. Most of them played with fundamentals in mind, except for the Sindarov game, especially Sindarov. You're a super GM. You need to show these guys how to play with fundamentals, but you didn't. Hence, I'm going to keep ripping on you. Anyway, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed this recap of round 5. Yesterday was a break. Today's round 5. Let's just look at the standings. So we'll go to round 5, and we'll go to players, and here are your standings. We have first place goes to Sindarov with 4 wins, followed by Caruana 3, Prague 1. We have Anish with 1, and then we have Bluebaum, Wei, Hikaru, and Esipenko with 0 wins. So if I had to say, I would say Esipenko, Nakamura, and Wei, as well as I think even Bluebaum, are just going to get out in the semifinals, and we'll have Geary, Pragnanda, Caruana, and Sindarov playing for the semifinals. And assuming stuff goes like this, I feel like Geary and Prague will fall, and we'll have Caruana and Sindarov playing for the finals. Hopefully, let's not have that. I want Prague in the finals to play Gukesh, but again, I wouldn't complain if it was Caruana or Sindarov. I would be happy either way. Anyway, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. One more thing. I was looking at Levy's book on how to win at chess next level. That's $44, by the way, 44 Canadian or 30 USD. My book is far cheaper than that, okay? So if you want to learn chess, my book is a better buck for your money, or better for your money, or better for your bucks compared to Levy. Anyway, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Peace out.